Hello and welcome. It is 7:54 p.m. Eastern, January the 8th, 2021. My name is Derek. This is the Money Charts channel. All bets, trades, and of the like within each's own risk and their own reward. And for this video only, it's going to be Tezos crossed with HBAR. And I'm going to go over my historical ratio trades and just go over management of the things that I've been talking about with some of my videos. I've been trading this pretty much since the get-go. My first ratio trade was up in here on the way up, as I've been trading it ever since the beginning. And we've seen it go from where you needed 23 HBARs to buy one Tezos. And then you needed a lot more, 143. A decent size increase in 143. A little bit up move, down move, up move, down move, and not much you could do in here, and a lot less you could do when the market was doing this. But it's been an interesting week. Right now, I'll show it in a bit. I think 5 consecutive days in a row in which I have traded this crossing. And well, went up, and then down, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So magnificent moves that have occurred and down 36%. We're seeing it go from these moves in here. I just think it's fantastic to be able to move coins the way that I do. So with that being said, let me show you a spreadsheet of every trade that I've made within this crossing. Right now the ratio is at 46. And my last trade was today, selling 3,000 HBAR and buying 75 and a half Tezos at a ratio of 39. 5 days in a row. January 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. Before that, December 28th. Before that, August 10th. And August the 9th. And before that, May the 1st. So this stretch in here from May the 2nd to December 27th. I was able to get a small little flip back here, and that was it. But you can see in here how busy times can get when they get busy. April 23rd, 18th, 7, March 23rd, 13, 12, 11, 8, 9, March 6th, March 2nd, February 22nd. I mean, when those things go, I can make a lot of different trades that can happen. So what I'd like to do here is look at this in like batch settings. Like for example, this here. Put this to the side. This trade here, I took 3,100, which was less than this, and I got back 56. So that's a completed cross, as with this. So just for fun, what I like to do is just put them in 2 different groups. Now, what has happened here, I mean, these numbers are much smaller. Why would that be? Well, the reason for that is because as the times at the end of the month, I was just adjusting my portfolio, and I realized I want to increase the stake sizing. So I allocated both. I was buying both more HBAR and Tezos at the time. So I thought, you might just increase the amount that I play per play. So right now, this is an open seed right now for today. So if, say, tomorrow or later today, whatever, or even a few days from now, I'd like to see my streak continue, but I know it's going to obviously go back and forth into hot, cold, medium. But I can come in, maybe sell 60-something Tezos and get well noticeably more than 3,000 HBAR back. So let's just move these up in here, and I'm just going to even reduce the size of this just a little bit so I can show everything on the screen well enough. So what other ones can we put in here? Okay, well, how about this here? We got a spot where I would have sold 14.85 after 16. I can move that to the side. And is there anything else? I could suppose I got this one and this one that can match up. I still have a whole bunch more. What else do we have? Even an obvious one in here, I think, is... Yeah, because I required 23 Tezos, then I took 20 and a half of them. and I got rid of them that way. Even in the earlier stages, we got this here. 2,400, I stole 22. And then, what else do we got? This one here, these two here. Just cross these off together. Some of them are just odd, weird sizes. But I got minus 20, minus 35, 27. So here's a whole bunch of sell orders in a row of Tezos right off the early get going. Because that's when Tezos was kicking ass. But then I managed to sell 1,800 for 22, 36 for 30, for 57. So where can I come up with, say, where I was able to acquire less than 36, or more than 36 rather, costing less than this? Well, my last three would have been 29, 41, and I got like costing me 16 and 14, that's 30 and 50. Well, I'm gaining like almost that. So it's almost like a 3 for 2 deal here. I can almost go like this and say, like, just to finish off that trade. Because of course they don't go together so evenly like the other ones that's been mentioned. And a spot like this, well, here's 1,000 out for this. This is 1915. This would be taking off 2 trades in a spot like this, because I sold only half of what I gained on the last time, but then 4 days later, pretty much most of the other half. So that can go in here. So now as far as the seeds that I have that need to be completed, and I can still try to play around with this more to see if I could put more on the right hand side. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to just see how much I've gained on the overall mathematically after I'm done within this. So anything else we could put in here? Well, here's a situation where it was 44 out and a double back again. And I got more the HBAR, so I can just take this and go like that. Here's another obvious one in here as well. So now I'm left with only very little seeds left. And just for the whatever purposes, I could even just put these together here, but nah. Or what I'm going to do is I'm going to be settled for what I got and just take a look at the sum of this side and the right hand side. So what have I gained amongst for free coins on the both sides? Let's just put a sum in and see. And we will come up with, for HBAR, 2,370 almost. And as far as how many free Tezos have I come up with? 50 of them. So 50 free Tezos. And they're over $2 a coin, but whatever. Or I don't know. I don't know what the recent price is. Market's been volatile. So as far as on this side, I'm -5. Ooh, it's like nothing. It's like, okay. So overall, I'm minus 45 I've gained more than 45 and a half. And a gain of 557 if we do the sum on here. So I've gained 23,000 or so. Spot like this, regardless of which trade comes into play, when we're seeing a spot where my last trade is 3,000 out and I'm still, it's pretty much what I got left. So my next trade I can do, okay, just do a little less, like 28 or 26. Well, even doing 28 would be still, I'm still over 2,900 in gain when I take 2,369 plus 557. And then if I withdraw this theta trade down, I could technically do like 55 coins and have my Tezos be exactly as where I started, or even I probably would even do like sell 65, and I'd be 10 less. And next thing you know, I'd be up like 7,000 plus HBAR at that time, and just let these things move as it goes. Now, as far as my overall, if something like that were to happen, then we just play around with this a little further as far as a hypothetical level is concerned. I know these dates aren't in order anymore, but that's not what's important. I'm sure I'm going to do it this way because I want to add some more extra days to add to hypothetical situations. So there's 2,926 HBAR net gain and 45 and 5/9 in the Tezos. So let's just assume that, because even though this is 45, I did like a 60 trade last time. Let's just assume that the trade is minus 60 and the centering is off, but that's no big deal. It's minus 60. The ratio would be going higher. Right now, of course, it's 45. So let's just assume the ratio goes up to, like, say, 53. Or even 55. So if that's the case, I would go 60 times 55. So I would have now 6,200 on here. If I were to do that, I would be doing that at a ratio of 55 to 1. And you know what? I probably want at least that number. Is that right? 55? No. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. That's how good my memory is, or for lack of better terms, poor sometimes. I thought we were, I don't know, maybe because I'm looking at 63 above. Anyway, it would mean at this stage, if I were to see what if I were in this position, I would be up 6,200 theta, and I would be doing this at what would be an average cost of like 431, which is like a way out of where the market really actually is. But let's assume after that Tezos continues to go higher. Let's say it goes to 75 to 1. And I'm like, okay, I want to get rid of 45 or 47, 48 Tezos next. So let's go 48 multiply 75. And next thing you know, I mean, that's a possibility if this keeps going, and I'm seeing this happen with theta right now, where you just keep getting sell order over hit. And this becomes a very large negative number. This would become a very positive number. But there's always different situations where if you ever want to get fancy at different times, you would see at this point that you're up 9,826 extra HBAR. And assuming now that you get an HBAR move in your favor, a really good one like today, even better we'll say it goes to 35 to 1. And you're like, I want to clear the entire batch. Because I know a lot of times, okay, yeah, I could just clear this batch, take 3, maybe go minus 3,200 and get what I get. Okay, great. But if I just look at this as one large batch in itself, I'm like, okay, I gained 9,826. Why don't I just go ahead and shade like 8,000 of them, 8,200 of them, keep like 1,600 and change for myself, and then see how many more in that 62 number I would get. And we'll just divide this by 35, and that would be the number. Probably get somewhere around 234. I mean, that would just be a sick play. And then look, you've been able to make a huge play on gaining the your Tezos. And look at this now from 2 levels on a big move. Because one of 2 things should happen, pending, of course, that nothing happens. I mean, we'll just, as long as nothing happens, 1 of 2 things will happen. He's going to go up or down. But when these things happen fast, the moves can be big. So assuming you're live and you've already seen this ratio go from 75 to 35, or maybe like 65 or 60 when the day started, whatever. So you're seeing a 70, 80, 120% move on the HBAR in a spot like this, or whatever the coin is you're working with. What happens if it keeps going up more? Well, you're in a position where if all you've done is get rid of your free coins, then you're not in a bad problem if this big coin continues to go on more. No, you're not going to sell like 6,000 or 7,000 the next time. But you can go ahead and continue on to another 3,000 on a 40% or 50% move or whatever it is you might want to do as the market would continue. But then oftentimes if you get an intraday push here, which is not uncommon. So you see, say Satoshi-wise, something goes from 200 to 400. And that's where you sold at around when you made this trade, was at 400 Satoshi. Well, next thing you know, it's like 370, 320. 280 even, maybe 260, 290. Maybe you can take a portion of that 234, like 60. Say the ratio climbs up, even just intraday, like 2 hours later. You can see that maybe it goes back up to like say 53. You're like, you know, I'm just going to take like a small amount, like say 70 of them, of the 234 that you got, you might say. And I'm going to do this, and we'll just, I guess I'll get like 3,700 of them. And then even these entered moves, okay, it comes back and you're back down to 35 again. Okay, well, let me just take 3,200 of them or whatever, 3,400 of them, and 33, whatever number you want to do. And on a spot like this, it would be $91. So things like that could very easily come into play when days of those magnitudes come in. And within these major bull markets that occurred in 2017, if we're getting any type of similar styles, it should be interesting, I guess, how wild a lot of the I've said intra a lot, but day moves can be. Thank you for tuning in. Have yourself a great day. Bye-bye.